Hello, my name is Botupalli Pandit. I'm going to demonstrate the project real-time analytics system. So let's first move on to the file structure for the both front-end and backend. So for the backend, I'm using Node and Express.js and Socket.io library for the WebSocket usage. So I'm using an MVC architecture over here to segregate my code base for the backend. So I have defined routes for to add the events and also get the analytics and the respective controllers in the controllers folder. And there is a service analytics service file where the whole purpose of this file is to track the users sessions and their activity. So we are not using a database over here, everything is handled in memory. And for the socket configuration, all the necessary files, emitters and events are defined inside the socket folder where the index.js file is going to initialize the socket, and it's going to handle some basic events for connection and disconnection. And all the events are defined in the socket emitters.js. So the visit update session activity and the alerts are handled over here. These are emitted from the backend side. And the other events where the communication is handled from the client to server. So those are handled in socket events.js for request detail stats and also track dashboard action. So this is the backend file structure. Let's move on to the front end. So for the front end, to build the UI, I used React and Tailwind and the Socket.io client library for socket communication. All the components are defined inside the components folder, and the socket initialization is done inside the utils, which is socket.js file. And all the events are handled in the app.jsx file. Now let's move on to the demonstration for the project. I'm going to run the front end and also the back end. The backend is running as expected. Let's open the front end. So this is how the UI looks like. It is going to show the status of the dashboard, which is connected, disconnected, or reconnecting. Total number of active dashboards, and the next is the visitors info. So the total number of active visitors, the total number of visitors today, and the top pages visited. And there is a feed to show the users visitor feed. Example, their actions performed, from which page to which page they are moving on, and their active sessions, which is going to show a detailed user activity for each one. And there is a chart over here. It is going to show the total users for the last 10 minutes. And there is a filter apply button over here to track what the dashboard users are actually doing over here. So first let's open another tab for the dashboard. And as you can see, the dashboards count has increased to 2 because there are 2 active dashboards. Let's open another one. So the dashboard count is 3 on all the tabs. So I'm going to close the third one, and the dashboard count has updated to 2. And in the inspect, as you can see over here, all the socket communications are being from client to server over here. For both the tabs, it's going to be the same one. So when the dashboard user applies a filter over here, as you can see, the sockets list is getting updated. Now let's move on to the user activities, and let's check whether it is updating on both the tabs simultaneously with live updates. So I'm going to use Postman to trigger some APIs to add events for prospective users. So let's start with visitor one, where he's going to start from home. I'm going to send the API. Response is good. And for the front end, you can see the total active users are 1, the total today is 1, yes, and the home page is visited 1. And this is a feed for the user activities, and there is a detailed activity over here. So where the current page is and their journey. Let's check when the user moves on to the next page, like products. Send. You can see the products has been updated over here, the visitors feed, and the journey over here. And you can see the chart over here. For the last 10 minutes, there is only one user, so there is a graph over here. Now let's add another user, which is visitor 2. Let's say he has started from products page. I'm going to send. The total number of active users are 2. Total today is 2. The product is 2. And there is a live feed over here, and also the active sessions with a journey. And there is a spike in the user activity. There are 2 users visited the website, so the count as 2. Now let's drop one user and check whether these numerics are updated over here or not. So there is a API to end the session for visitor 1. Send. And you can see the active users are currently 1, the total of 2 today, and there is a drop in the graph from 2 to 1. Now let's see how the UI behaves when the server is disconnected and connected. So I'm going to split the screen to see the real life updates. I'm going to stop the server. The status has moved to disconnected, and the front end client is trying to establish a connection. So I'm going to restart the server. Yes, the status is connected. Now let's check the user dashboard activity when he clicks on the apply filter. As I demonstrated before, the socket events are in the network tab as shown. When I tap on this button to apply a filter, which is a dashboard user activity, there is an event on the front backend side which is going to log what the dashboard user has done, the type, the filter applied, the country, and India. So this is the complete demonstration of this project. Thank you.